नमस्कार। सिंगापुर इवेंट में कुछ ऐसे लोग आए थे जो सिर्फ मुझे पैसा बोलता है ऐसे जानते हैं। वे पैसा बोलता है कि सब्सक्राइबर्स हैं। मुझे बहुत खुशी हुआ। अगली इवेंट मैं अबू धाबी में कर रहा हूँ। जो भी एमिरेट्स में रहते हैं और पैसा बोलता है कि सब्सक्राइबर्स हैं और मुझे मिलना चाहते हैं, मैं उनसे मिलने के लिए तैयार हूँ और खुश भी हो जाऊँगा। अगर इनफ लोग आते हैं तो हम सेपरेटली इंग्लिश या हिंदी में इवेंट करेंगे। अगर आप मुझसे मिलना चाहते हैं अबू धाबी में तो नीचे दिए व्हाट्सएप नंबर या ईमेल में मुझसे संपर्क करें। मेरे टीम से कोई आपसे संपर्क करेगा। आज गणेश चतुर्थी है। जो भी इस वीडियो को देख रहा है, आप सबको इस शुभ दिन का हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। नमस्कार, फिर पैसा बोलता है में आपका स्वागत है। आज शनिवार है, हॉट टेक्स करेंगे। मिंट से बहुत अच्छे प्रश्न हैं, कंट्रोवर्शियल चीज प्रश्न हैं, बफेट के बारे में भी है, तो इससे शुरू करते हैं आज। तो पहला क्वेश्चन तो वॉरेन बफेट पे ही होगा। बाद में क्या पूछते हैं मेरे भाई देखते हैं, लेकिन आज का रिकॉर्डिंग इंग्लिश में ही होगा। Vinod, what do you have for me?
It is sad, Anand. Warren Buffett has lost his touch.
See, the point is very simple. Buffett bought a stock in 1965, which he says is one of his biggest mistakes in his life. And he would have made more money had he not bought that stock. The stock is Berkshire Hathaway, and the numbers bear out. If he had not invested in that company out of ego and he had kept it, he kept investing in his style and Manga's style, he would have done far better. Maybe a couple of 100 billion more. What you have to understand is from the time Buffett took over till today, the stock of Berkshire Hathaway has gone up 55,000 times. 1 rupee is now 55,000 or $1 is $55,000. Whereas with all dividends paid, all the gymnastics done, the S&P has returned only 400 times. What Buffett successfully managed to do is he moved from being a fund manager into a business owner. As a fund manager, people could have pulled out money whenever they wanted. And he realized this weakness of being a fund manager when people could pull money whenever they wanted. Therefore, he decided to become a business owner. And when he became a business owner, he wanted limitless money. So for that, he had to invent the float. A float is of money which is not actually his, but is that of a client to be paid if there is a demand. So he bought a lot of general insurance companies. These general insurance companies, people pay premium. Suppose your car, you pay a premium. Insurance company, I get to keep this premium till next year, and when it becomes zero. If and when there is a claim, I pay out. And if there is no claim, I don't pay out anything. So by managing claim ratio, which is premium return to claim, by using his underwriting skills, he accumulated a huge float. He used that float to invest intelligently, and that investments gave more investments. And he also bought a company called Blue Stamp, which is also gave him a lot of float. So the use of float made Buffett what he is today and made him cash rich. What he tried telling, he dropped in one word is that the market is extremely overvalued, and we all know it's overvalued, especially the tech stocks. And more than 40% of last year's gains came from tech stocks, in which, except Apple, which he treats as a consumer company, he does not have major presence. So he said eye-popping returns are not possible. Even in this year, when he said eye-popping returns are not possible, the S&P had returned 18% at that time on his birthday, whereas he had returned 28%. So he beat the S&P by 28%. And now he got Bank of America for free because in 2009-10, he could loan it $10 billion when nobody could loan him $10 billion. That gave him the right to buy that stock for dirt cheap. Like he did in Goldman Sachs, like he did in GE. He kept on adding positions on that and dumped half that position right now, which gave him a huge return. And in Apple, he has made more than 40 times his initial capital. he sold half his position. His war chest is now roughly estimated between 280 to $300 billion. His logic, which this paper didn't pick up, is that he wants to invest $300 billion in the Fed when the rate is 5%. As the rate comes down, and as Oak Tree Capital says it will come to 3%, you will get a 25 to, from when it went from 0 to 5, the bond market lost 26%.
Yes.
From 5.5 to 3, it will gain 26%.
Yes.
So he knows for sure equity is not going to give him 26%, but sitting on this bonds will get him 26%. So he has moved his cash from equity to bonds, that too safe as government bonds. Now what these guys are saying is this old man has $280 billion in cash. He does not know what to do with it. There is no debt.
Correct.
Why don't you give us a fat payout?
Correct.
It's like you asking me, when can you get some clothes to spend?
He is 94 years old, Baba. Okay. He has no interest in all this. But we are young, Gen Z, B, D, E, A, Alpha, Beta.
You
and
spend your money.
We've been waiting. We've been waiting. He himself admits he has nothing too great to invest in. So you keep
what he's saying.
You keep 280, 120 billion at least. So this side.
So what he's saying is, if you don't like it, you can sell that stock and go.
Now you're saying divorce the family and take a settlement and go. Who wants to do that?
That's what he's saying.
We want to have the cake and eat it too.
So that is not possible. So they are taking pot shots at him by saying that his corporate governance record is poor and all that.
All old dudes are sitting. All 60 plus, 70 plus guys are sitting. Look at Google and all young guys. Like Dad says, with piss and vinegar, running around, doing things, making trillions of dollars.
So why don't you send it to...
Don't say immediately sell. And that is not fair. We're encouraging him. We're cajoling him. We're trying all kinds of methods to him, saying, open that wallet a little bit, Baba.
So he won't be able to. Next.
That is very sad, Anand. That is very sad indeed. Okay. So what is this? Bush worked for PE, ICICI at the same time. It's all very confusing, Anand. This is just a political hit, or is there some really new substance behind all this?
No, this time there are three things that have happened.
What is concerning you the most out of this?
There are three things that seem to have happened. And the first and foremost thing is, when she was in a position of government and governance, she collected money from her previous employer, which is ICICI. And people said it is salary. And she has not responded to it. The money has come from three shapes. It's come from the bank, it's come from its mutual fund and insurance, ICICI Prudential, and it has come from ESOPs. Now, TDS on ESOPs have to be paid by the person who is getting the salary. But in this case, the ESOPs were paid by the bank. Now, then ICICI Bank came out and said this is superannuation. Then the others pointed out the superannuation amount is far greater than the salary.
Correct.
And there was a 2-year break in paying the superannuation. So, other thing is, the correct thing to do is to have a Chinese wall and a trust where the money is paid, or delay your gratification till the time your post is over. She didn't do it. So, another thing is, she resigned from the bank in 2012 or 13. But for 2 years, she worked for a company called Great Pacific Capital, and at the same time was working for ICCP private equity, which is against the rule. You cannot wait for two funds at the same time. The question is, and there was a very controversial matter of ICICI Bank taking over ICICI Securities and delisting it. It went to court. SEBI under her, she gave a special exemption. And you received money from ICICI Bank.
Wonderful.
Okay. Now what has happened? Out of 1,000 employees in SEBI, 500 employees have written to the finance minister 1 month back, saying the work culture after she took over became toxic and a lot of abusive language has been used. And she is being unreasonable on timelines and she is micromanaging decisions, which is what others have been saying. So there was an Hindenburg research which said she invested in a PE fund. Now reports have come of an ICICI Bank involvement. Now SEBIs are talking about a toxic work culture. At the same time, now Z. Subhash Chandra tried to sell his company to
Yes, he's also saying that something is very fishy.
Sony. No, he tried to sell his company to Sony.
Yeah.
Now the SEBI passed an order saying that he diverted funds and barred him from holding office. But what he is in turn claiming is he was approached by a middleman and was asked for a bribe to settle matters in SEBI. Now SEBI has not responded to it. But he has said, I have the proof, I'll go to court against her. Now it is high time she has not opened her mouth on all these controversies. It's high time she clarifies what happened.
Do you think that will come?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, I shall not dive into the politics of it. This is the matter as it's concerned, black and white. You guys can read the grays as you wish.
आपने इस पॉडकास्ट को सुना, इसके लिए आपको आभारी हूँ मैं। इस पॉडकास्ट को आप अपने दोस्त और रिश्तेदार के पास भेज सकते हैं, उनको देखने की आग्रह कर सकते हैं। इस वीडियो को लाइक कीजिए, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और बेल नोटिफिकेशन दबाएं। नमस्कार, धन्यवाद, जय हिंद।
जय हिंद।